yeah.
Guys, before the draft starts,
Yeah,
huh?
but-
Stay humble, stay calm, stay connected.
I'm TP now. Solo.
Look, Blitz, no flash.
Blitz no flash. Blitz no flash.
No flash, twist. No flash, twist.
I go
Just jump.
Go Drake. Come. I can look, by the way. Look on Blitz.
Don't target, okay? Get something.
Rush here too. It's winning. Get another jump.
Blitz, no flash, Blitz.
I'm fine. Get another jump.
Nice.
Yeah, good job. Lost a bit focus, but it's fine.
We paint the town blue tonight in the ADC as KC takes us to match points already against G2 Esports, and I am speechless, guys.
what a game! It's not what I was expecting. I can't even find my words to what K Corp is doing right now. Pushing G2, making all the perfect adaptations, and now being on the cusp of 3-0.
Right.
That's just insane.
They are smurfing. They're just running G2 on the entire map. I've never seen KC with this much discipline, with this much strength. I think they're just playing out of their mind right now. I think this is peak KC right now.
Okay, but talk me through this, Finn, because we set the expectation at the beginning of the day, saying this is still very G2 favored. How can we beat G2? How can they overcome G2? And we had a toolkit really well set up by Vladi, telling us what to do. So is this what KC has been doing this? Do you see some of these elements?
Yeah, so Vladi has told us earlier today what are the two key points that you need to do to beat G2. So the first thing was contain Broken Blade. I think KC has played both games on blue side, and I think Broken Blade has had a sleeper series so far. We have not seen Broken Blade being very active on the map, and he's been kind of under the radar. So first of all, I think they've done that great. And the second point that Vladi said was that you just need to play good, fundamental League of Legends. And if we pull up a replayer behind me, I'm going to break down why KC is playing good, fundamental League of Legends. Because I'm really excited, because this is just exactly what we wanted to see from them.
All right.
So here we see KC with 3 dragons. Dragon Soul coming up. And they're all so aware of it. You see here, Vladi is basing right now on his Yone, trying to get his item, and KC is already in the river. They want to hold this river because they realize whoever is first in the river will be favored. And if you pause the clip right here, here you see Vladi TPing in. And sometimes this TP looks a little bit scary sometimes, but KC is so ready to back him up here. And if you start rolling out the clip, you see all of KC is going to come in and help their mid laner get this TP in. And they just culminate so beautifully with the Skarner ult on top of the Rumble ult and the Yone ult. And they completely take the fight away from G2. And this is not a surprise. This is just good fundamental League of Legends.
Exactly, and honestly, looking forward at the next game, it is a tough situation for G2, because right now I remember the last time where someone in the lower bracket final was challenging them was actually me and Malmo.
Oh, really?
It's a little bit of self-blaze, you know, but it's not about that. It's not about me. It's about K Corp and the momentum that they have from this lower bracket run. Yesterday, they won the first 2 games. Sure, it went to 5 games, but the adaptations that we wanted to see from them are here right now. And now, similar situation as yesterday. G2 is choosing red side. What are we going to see? Is Canna still going to be able to pull off his champions? Or is G2 going to find adaptations they need?
We talked earlier in the year about the year of the rookies is coming back, a renaissance, so to say. I think we're witnessing a rookie coup d'etat right now in the league. I think the old kings are getting taken down by this blue wall, and I really love seeing Caliste and Vladi just stepping up to the challenge. They are not scared in the final, and they're not scared of playing good League of Legends. They're not scared of playing their own game.
I want to challenge you guys on something, though, because I believe in the form of the day. I believe in staged experience. I believe in momentum that you can carry through the loser bracket, but I would like to remind you the fact that game 1 and 2 versus Fnatic, good. And then what? Took them to game 5. Draft 1 and 2 versus G2 last week, great. And then what? So I'm really interested in this adaptation from KC, starting at this game 3 here, especially with G2 being on red side. For sure, they're cooking something.
Right now, it's the critical point of the series, because yesterday, we saw 2 great games from Targamas. When he was playing Comfort, he was playing Space Makers, he was playing Skirmishers, and it felt like he and Yike were the engine of K Corp. But then we saw in game 3 that he went off the script a little bit, going into Enchanters. Right now, my challenge for K Corp, and what I really want to see from K Corp, is picking up another sort of engaged support just because this is how the team functions best.
I like what we want to see from K-Corp here, but they're in the driver's seat here, Finn. What do we want to see from G2? Because it is not looking great for them so
Well,
far.
I want to go back to what Odo said earlier in the day, talking about these scary, spooky picks in the top lane. I think giving Broken Blade that R5 is just setting him up for total success. I want to see them look for these kind of champions that you're not really used to seeing. I think I need them to put Canna outside of his comfort zone. I think Canna's had a great series so far, but I really want to see Broken Blade wake up in the series and pick one of his funny champions.
Exactly, because we haven't seen any of that yet. And G2, when they perform best, it's exactly when Broken Blade is picking his sort of champions. And yeah, sorry, I'm getting fumbled.
There was a lot of tissues on his desk. I got very confused.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but I want Broken Blade to do the things that he's most known from. This is where he puts his foot down. And Canna, we have seen him previously struggle when he's playing these sort of meta champions that don't have a lot of impact.
And to me, this series kind of mirrors last series. Because last series, we saw Canna get pulled into Broken Blade's game. Canna was playing these tanks and it looked so uncomfortable. But meanwhile, this is Broken Blade getting pulled into Canna's game. Now Canna is on the carries. He's the one getting these champions that he's really comfortable with. And if he can keep doing this, I don't see how G2 can challenge them.
Oh, let's see what they can be comfortable with. Again, here in this game 3, a lot of champions taken off the board. Guys, we are going to cover the draft here at the desk, starting with Lulu ban, followed by Draven on the side of his.
Yeah, what I'm looking out for is these remaining engaged supports. I think of the Braum and the Nautilus. For me, I really want to see Targamas in one of these two champions, because I think that's when he finds the most success. So I would love to see them secure something from early game, because if you drop your support to 4-5, it becomes very hard to get those champions.
Exactly. We see the Caliste Draven trade as usual when you face these two teams. I'm surprised that series is still open this late into Fearless. It feels like it's going to be one of the lock bans. The Warwick ban coming in, now it screams that G2 needs to ban Ambessa, otherwise exactly you don't really have a good counter pick here. But now what are the OP picks here? K-Corp could be looking for the Nautilus here to secure it early, but I feel like there should be an OP jungle here.
Yeah, there's still the Sejuani combos that Yike has been very good on, and there's also the AD carries that are still open. I think it's the Viktor has been very popular here in Europe, and it's not something that we see a lot in LCK, but it has been a power pick in the beginning of the year.
And Vladi maneuvering it last time was deadly, so I would be keeping an eye on
Exactly,
that.
it's not really such a successful pick over here in the LEC, but Vladi, when I think of him and his best games so far this year have been on these sort of control mages, and the Viktor, good, reliable, safe pick. Opens you up for the counter pick against the red side 1-2. Now I'm curious what G2 is going to be looking for. Are they going for more lane power? Are they looking for a little bit more agency and skirmish power around the mid lane? Because I feel like that's where it's been the biggest lacking point.
And it looks like lane prio here for the bot lane, Finn. Does that make sense?
Yes, securing Caitlyn, I think right now she's probably the strongest lane AD carry that's left in the game. So just picking that early on the red side, combining that with a Ryze, who very easily pushes and moves to the lane where Caitlyn is, allows G2 to have a very simple game plan. Caps will push mid and move to Hansama.
And it is quite obvious right now. They're putting all the eggs in the Hansama basket because they want to get a little bit of a bigger early game lead so that they can transition that into a more comfortable position in the mid game, which is funny because we've seen this sort of rotation earlier from K-Corp where they went for the Ryze Viego and they got countered. Feels a little bit preemptive to go put your eggs all in this basket.
And I'm a bit skeptical towards this Jhin so early in the draft, not knowing what is going to be played around that Caitlyn.
I like it.
You like it?
I think Jhin is a good answer to the Caitlyn. I think he will kind of keep the same range. It doesn't really get bullied out by the Caitlyn. And especially, Jhin is really good at following up in these river fights because his W is so long range. Here, Yike picking the Xincha is very strong in the river fight, and he can easily follow up on those fights with his W.
So the thought process is this for K-Corp. They pick the Jhin because they want to eliminate a power lane for G2 to play around. Because right now, if you pick Jhin into Caitlyn, you're going to get prio. Ryze doesn't really have a lot of playmaking tools around you. And with Zhao, it feels like your skirmish around the both sides of the map is very powerful. But G2 is going for the Pantheon here.
Yeah, G2 is going for the Pantheon. SkewMond had such a good performance on it earlier. But I also want to bring it back to what we said earlier. Targamas has not picked an engaged support or middle support, and he might now get pinched in the 4-5 by G2. That Nautilus and that Braum that was open might get picked away, so we're going to have to see him expand the champion pool, and we're going to see what they have to bring out here.
I feel like even though it's going to get banned here, I don't really feel like it's a bot lane game right now, at least for G2. I feel like all of a sudden it's going to become a top lane game where you have the Pantheon to unleash VB and Caps to create chaos around the map, and I'm going to be looking mainly over there on what G2 can be cooking because right now K-Corp did neutralize the both sides of the map.
Yeah, and I also want to bring back this Pantheon doesn't have to go jungle. This could be a top lane Pantheon, this could be a support Pantheon. We saw it earlier today in the NLC finals, a Pantheon support get brought out. But this is just such a powerful flex pick, and it doesn't really say anything to Casey. But knowing SkewMond, it probably goes to the jungle.
I'll still be banning the Nautilus here if I'm K-Corp, because there's always the risk that Nautilus... Realistically, the support from G2 is going to be coming over here on 4, just so BB gets a counter pick so he can unleash himself a little bit here. So I am looking at K-Corp and how they get there engaged exactly. The Nautilus comes in.
Yeah, the Nautilus as a response to the Brown ban is pretty standard, because those are like the 2 core champions out. So now both of the supports will most likely be of the ranged kind, which makes the game a lot more volatile because it makes it a lot harder to phase vision. If your support is a squishy little enchanter, getting into those dark rivers becomes very scary.
I do give the advantage a little bit here to G2 just because you have the options, the Thresh.
That is a very Labrov pick, I have to say. Labrov Gems, I met this player playing Thresh, and I'm very surprised to see this one here.
I feel like the kitchen's on fire a little bit for G2 here.
I'm feeling the Pike from Targamas. I think Pike is good into the Thresh. We saw it yesterday from Mickey, looked great, and it's an old Targamas classic. And I think when you have a self-sufficient AD carry like Jhin, you have a lot of freedom to do whatever you want on the map.
The only part I dislike here about G2's draft is that BB now will be forced to play a little bit of a tank, a little bit of a frontliner, just because you have so much cooking in the draft. I love the Rakan pickup here. It is versatile. It doesn't really... how to say, it doesn't really stomp lane or have a lot of lane power, but it has the power to keep everything together and keep it stable. And from what I remember, it is a good matchup to the Thresh. I'm wondering right now, what is Canna going to be going for? I feel like just the easy... I mean, Gnar is a great pick. Gnar is an amazing pick just because G2's comp really needs a tank right now. When you opt to go for the Thresh and you don't really have any pure frontline in the game right now on your side, you need a frontline. And what counters frontline? Well, it's the little Yordle in the top lane.
Do you know any spooky picks that would work well into the Gnar? Urgot coming in. I don't think that's a good matchup for Urgot. When I learned about Urgot, I think Gnar does really well into him because he holds him at his range. He never really goes into the Urgot.
It is a spooky champion because when he ults you and grinds you and like that, you know, it is terrifying. So I don't really like it just because it's so all in on this skirmish power. It's so all in on collecting so many random kills. And for me, K-Corp just has so much stability in the draft. I feel like top lane is winning in isolation, mid lane has the prior and it outranges the Ryze, and the bot lane is just stable enough.
Who wants draft? Who wins draft here?
Oh, I love Casey's draft.
I
think especially the Rakan pick was just so good and really tied it together. It really shows what we like about Casey when Targamas is on engage.
Where are we keeping our eyes at in the early game, Odo?
For G2 or for K-Corp?
For anyone.
Mid lane has been the story of the series. If mid lane gets unleashed, either side is winning.
All eyes on mid lane. Casey is one game away from doing it 1 year later. The insane recovery they've been able to do in the LEC has been phenomenal. Can they do it with this draft? Can they do it with this game? Or is G2 gonna offer us a series? Casters, take it away.
There's no way surely this ends in a 3-0. After we came into the day, we're like, yeah, some people said, oh, G2 might 3-0, there's 3-1 it. There is no way KC 3-0 their first finals in the LEC a year after their inception against none other than G2.
Surely, right?
Surely.
I mean, the problem is for G2, they have to start a reverse sweep. And KC, they're one game away from taking them down either way. I think it's a statement from the Karmine Corp side.
The support is strong for the side of G2. Our long-standing champions, the Grand Slam winners of 2024, looking to be usurped by 2 rookies and 3 veterans. It's easy to forget, but both Yike and Targamas won titles through this G2 organization. Canna, an LCK champion as well. And Vladi and Caliste really rising up through the ERLs to find themselves in a situation that not many find themselves in. Caliste, his first finals after his first split.
After getting through, and remember again, in the ERLs, he didn't have much success and getting knocked out, of course, by BDSA in EMEA Masters, but still, they said, man, when he reaches the LEC, he's going to hit the high highs.
His first split was crazy. Remember, like, he joined LFL, immediately won LFL, immediately won EMEA Masters, and everyone was like, so this is the guy. This is the guy.
The prodigy,
and to be fair, he really did live up to the hype.
And he's getting hype from this guy as well. As Cap said, if they keep going, there'll definitely be a huge rivalry. I feel like this quote is now made true by this series. Like, Caps maybe a bit before his time, or...
I mean, really, we've had, in terms of the top 4, an absolutely banger series.
Been good.
The Fnatic versus Koi, the 4-5 games yesterday.
Yeah.
Into... Well, I mean, we're going to see. I mean, I think everyone wants more. I mean, KC fans want a win right here. But we want more games. We want more excitement. Let's see if G2 can do it. They've picked a composition that the desk really didn't like, and it's easy to understand why. They have a relatively short-range composition, especially on the top side of the map, with Caitlyn looking to try and leverage her range. Speaking of...
Yeah, and that just enables Handsummer to auto.
To basically force a lot of skirmishes, 2v2s, 3v3s, and try and find advantages through side lanes and clever usage of how this Ryze ultimate interacts with the map.
Yeah, I think it's the dual semi-globals that G2 are looking to play around, because a lot of this game has been KC dictating the pace of the map, getting to objectives first, not getting caught out, or allowing KC to get into position to defend crucial points in the map. This is basically G2 saying, hey, we want to bypass that. We want to try and lean into this very fast pace when we get to the mid-game, where we can outnumber KC on side lanes, on towers, and just make plays quicker than KC can respond.
Hook again, nice. Targamas gets out of the way, but Labrov and Handsummer are trying to exert their pressure in this 2v2 continuously, and look at where junglers are. They can stay here isolated in the 2v2, and not the first time in the series that we've seen standard lanes, but maybe it is. Maybe I could just be wrong. I'm just sick of seeing lane swaps. It is nice to see that we get to see Handsummer and Labrov, who were emphasized on their 2v2s throughout the split, actually get to play one for themselves.
For me, I think that what's crucial in this third game is that SkewMond gets a little bit unlocked on the map. We really haven't seen him be super proactive in the early games for G2 so far in this series. And I want to see him grouping back up with Labrov and looking for plays, as he's already spotted out Yike will secure the first crab. And he can even use the prio that he has in mid to move over to the bottom one if he wants.
Yeah, you can see the path from Yike didn't clear out his Krug, so doesn't have the level 4 available, so can't really contest for SkewMond on the objective. SkewMond is able to fully clear out his jungle, now moving down to pick up that extra one. So, grand scheme of things, nice start from SkewMond. And I think this is what you really need on this Pantheon, a great start that you can leverage into early ganks, into early pressure. And he actually... I wasn't sure if he's going to try and make his way down into this bottom side, but there is a ward for KC to spot out any sort of positioning from SkewMond in this right rush.
Bit ahead in terms of speed now as well. Yike has his bot side to clear, but SkewMond obviously clearing a little bit quicker. He's going to get double scuttle here, get his back in, not first, but get maybe more influential back, as Yike just went back for Ruby Crystal and a longsword, which will speed up his clear a little bit as well. Hook City down bot today. I mean, Labrov is just living there.
Keeping my eyes on the top lane matchup as well. I heard the devs talk about how they weren't super keen on the matchup in and of itself, but Broken Blade's off to a pretty healthy lead already in the 1v1. You can see he's got about a wave up on Canna. The experience is still the same, but in terms of gold, a slight advantage building in his favor. And the same can be said in mid as Caps continues to keep the push up. Yike hovering around bot means that KC could be looking for a play.
Death Sentence is not connecting. KC playing with it a little bit, and with the fog of war, Yike was just spotted. So they know he's there. It was on the edge of vision as well, as you get a picture towards the mid.
Though, because they're still playing very far up. Labrov doesn't know. Oh, he doesn't know.
Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe it's just an observer thing. Labrov did walk up. He flayed, but he's just dead. First blood to KC.
A nice job by Yike to sneak on into the brush. May have just been the observer swap over in the vision where he spotted him, and Labrov still trying to play aggressive, gets caught, and massive win for KC on the bottom side, just alleviating that pressure that Handsummer and Labrov were doing such a good job of keeping up.
Certainly is. I mean, ultimately it's not going to result in a huge amount, because look at the camp advantage SkewMond is currently sitting on. All this has done is really equalize the gold as G2 set their sights on the top side of the map. Caps has the ulti available.
True, and SkewMond beelining there as well. There's good damage from what's going to be used. You're right, Canna, but no Mega Gnar. He flashes away, and he's going to build out that bar. He will be able to hold in the wall. Fear Beyond Death as well set up, and Canna into the grinder. Broken Blade makes him a crab.
This is exactly what needs to happen for G2. Forcing these skirmishes, roaming with the Ryze, utilizing the ultimate to find picks, they equalize the kill score, and SkewMond secures the first grab.
G2, though, aren't comfortable to keep going. They're looking for Vladi.
The Lantern with the flay as well is brilliant. Vladi's got no mana, but the Death Sentence misses. Targamas gets the knock up, but there's no further damage. Vladi is just out of mana.
Vladi still needs to reset, though, as you say, for that mana. And now SkewMond going to instead take one grub on top side, move towards Dragon. the dragon stacking has been KC's win condition throughout this series, so SkewMond basically trying to right those wrongs down and say, I need to start this and take this away to enable us to play on sides, to cross map and use these semi-globals that we have.
And Handsummer doing a good job of keeping bot lane pushed in. Caps again with the prior on mid lane. Vladi regroups with the team as a root comes through from Caliste.
I mean, Handsummer, a bit of damage there, but he walks into a trap. He has to cleanse away Handsummer. No! From your mother.
He's clean with it. Gets the headshot. As the dragon is stolen by KC on the other side.
But there is a dark passage. The play doesn't end there. Caps gets a rune prison. He runs into the Chaos Storm. Vladi walks back for the lost chapter, so he's got some damage to play with. But the Chaos Storm is simply a zoning tool while Wind becomes lightning and Caps becomes up, then down. SkewMond over the wall. It turns into a scrap. Everybody's dying. Labrov's getting low, and SkewMond can't go back in because he knows he too will perish. Vladi's going to get a kill. You make it a double. Do you want to upgrade to the triple cheeseburger, sir? No, says KC. That walk away with a successful kill in the end.
The gravity field from Vladi there stopped the re-engage from G2, isolating two crucial members so KC could pick them off. It looked so good, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a KC win.
We look back at the play-in again as the kill happens on the bot side of the map. Targamas with a nice knock-up, the hook to try and disengage any follow-up, but as the dragon is secured, G2 think that they can go for the re-engage because they have the numbers advantage. But this wall is going to prove perilous because Caps moves up towards the top side while the rest of G2 go towards the bot, and KC catch out the single target that is Caps. A nice hook allows for Labrov to rejoin with the rest of his team, but it can't allow Handsummer, so it ends up just being a 2 versus 2. SkewMond doesn't have the HP, and Vladi gets accelerated. He now has the upgraded E. He's fast-tracking his upgraded Q. And we know what he's like on this Viktor as he gets going.
This Broken Blade will not go anywhere. At least buffers with the disdain is nice. As Canna now into range is perfect. Broken Blade has the flash because of the boomerang in tow as well. Hyper will give him slower, at least movement speed, rather attack speed. Canna gets a push. Broken Blade doesn't have TP, so he has to stick around.
Especially when you've got those Void Grubs up and available on the top side, but Yike is actually covering on boss. They're baiting here.
When with the curtain call, Labrov is zoning out, looking for the death sentence himself. You said Yike, Wind becomes lightning, but does not become Labrov. A bit of turret damage from Handsummer as well. Starts setting up the traps that set up the solo kill before. I think one of the things you need to rave about with G2 now with that fight going so awry is the fact that Handsummer is actually frying a bit with this bottom lane.
Yike trying to cover for a potential cross map though there on the bot half means that they don't actually get in position to take the Void Grubs that are still up and available. They could have tried to use that advantage the Canna gained in the top half, but instead trying to protect Caliste on the bottom side. You've already got 2 kills for Vladi, so KC, it feels like right now their mindset is defend plays from G2 and just try and get into a position where they continue to the strong team fights that their composition organizes.
Very much agree. KC want to slow the game down. You know,
yep.
Get a little bit more control, as Dagda was saying, and just leverage the fact that now you have a lot more prio in this mid lane matchup. Because you've got the upgraded E, you just wipe away those minion waves. And while Ryze can match with the wave clear, this is where the range becomes a problem. Because Viktor, he can already poke you from the other side of the map. I mean, okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it feels like that with the amount that he just chips away at your HP bar with that laser. And you're seeing it on your screen right now, especially with the Blackfire Torch upgrade. He just melts through that wave. G2 have swapped their bot lane up to top with the intent of securing those early grabs. And it looks like Caliste is here to match.
At least for Handsummer, I mean, playing through him right now for G2, that's what the desk were talking about, that this bot lane needs to get ahead and needs to stay ahead as well. Handsummer already towards his first item at the very least, as G2 thinking about how they can position to make 3 grubs out of 1 currently. Dark Passage set up, Chaos Storm down, he's got Blackfire Torch. This Viktor's stronger than you'd think he'd be. Onto Labrov, the flash is at least negated, but Vladi got another kill. 3 here for the Creep God. Wind becomes lightning, becomes a flash for SkewMond. KC are going to take these with glee.
So though Gnar has to try and escape Canna and nearly running in towards Broken Blade there. So KC, they pick up the kill as Labrov goes that little bit too far forward, but Caps now.
Be caught out. There's going to be a Mega Gnar here as well. He doesn't have his flash from the last fight. He's into the wall and stuck there. A second time, Canna ordering him away. Lands on his head and Caps gets clapped as Canna's going to be into the grinder. That's good, but Vladi's not done yet. The knock-up is he's low on mana and can't find anything apart from an auto. That secures the kill out of nowhere.
Kill after kill, Vladi is getting monstrous. This Viktor is 4-0-1 right now, and it's a 1.5k gold lead over Caps.
Vladi, his Viktor has been insane. One of the few mid laners still bringing this Viktor to the table, and he has been exceptional on it. Picking up, and it's like, G2 are just dropping like flies. The second they step into them, the gravity wells have been fantastic. And it's just setting up so nicely for KC to get these picks.
Must have been an enhanced Q. I thought, oh, he's got no mana. That's just an auto. But it ripped through the shield of Broken Blade, and 4 kills for a Viktor early. If you're worried about how long it takes for Viktor to get into the game, it's just unbearable to see that at 12 minutes in the game, he's onto his 2nd item now.
I mean, he's 70 stacks, and I'm pretty sure that's on his way to his 3rd upgrade, not his 2nd. Okay,
Oh dear.
And just because he's been involved, you get, I think it's 20 stacks per kill. Like, it was 25 and then they nerfed it. But the fact that he's been involved in 5 kills, SkewMond has used the ultimate. He set his sights onto Vladi.
Oh, Vladi's in a lot of trouble, but the Chaos Storm setting down will help out a little bit. But Vladi in the middle of 3, you can't do anything about that. At least the Chaos Storm is going to get something after the fact, and while he's dead, Vladi gets another shutdown. Death sentence misses here. Caps kites back, and he's looking for his old jungler, and he kites away. Labrov gets that one as G2 in front of the dragon stagnate the blows.
G2, don't let the game get away from them. They keep looking for plays. A nice ulti from SkewMond allows them to get that shut down onto Vladi. It was unfortunate for G2 that Labrov ended up getting that kill onto Yike, because their carries are in desperate need of that gold. But even then, Caliste utilizing his ultimate to still, at the very least, get a kill back for KC.
Yeah, I think you'd just be happy with the fact that you can actually get something here for G2. SkewMond gets the CC down, and Yike is desperately trying to get access to the backline. Targamas coming in to help him, at least secures 1. As SkewMond ends up falling to Vladi again, and then Caps getting that lantern, crucial there, just to get him out of safety. Yike even tries for the wind becomes lightning once more at the end, but doesn't quite hit the mark.
Big moment for Broken Blade in fights now as well. Remember, when you get towards the max level of Purge, the W the max first, no mana, no problems, always on in a fight as well. You just got to wait for the shotgun knees to refresh us all. Broken Blade 2-1 and 2. He's the one who's taken the most kills so far out of G2 as this dragon still in contest at 2.8k, and KC thinking about how they get in.
Vladi's ultimate is nearly up. They're just trying to find time. Stolen again!
I feel like he's just smite king this split. How many times does Yike just walk into your house and start raiding your fridge? Like, get out, Yike! Like, how? Who let him in?
I mean, in the regular season, it was Yike who ended up getting the steals against SkewMond. That kind of made it a bit questionable.
The thing is, right, that Labrov is the whole threat. Because if the hook goes wide, then what does KC really need to be afraid of anymore? That stun to come through from SkewMond? Sure, stunners, go ahead. What is Vladi going to do? He's going to put the gravity field down, and he's going to stun up your Pantheon. So they have so much confidence when it comes to walking towards these Drakes, because the only thing they have to be cautious of is Labrov. And once he's out of the question, then it becomes an easy objective contest. Still, when we look at the greater game, it's important to recognize where a lot of the gold is sitting. And we've already talked so much about Vladi, but Hysterics, you've been highlighting a lot how Hansama has maintained a good performance throughout this game. He finds himself with an 800 gold lead over Caliste. He's got his first item completed, and he's still in a prime position to be a real threat as the game continues.
I think the issue, though, is that you are a Caitlyn, right? So your mid-game is going to take that step back, whereas Vladi only starts to go from strength to strength now, and especially as you're looking towards a potential Rift Herald, or sorry, Void Grubs on the cards for them, but yeah, Broken Blade not going to stop them. But yeah, the Void Grubs now coming through as well. You can start to get up to 5 Void Grubs here for KC. I think this is where KC now can start to force objective fights, but also force potential turret trades. And especially for a team like G2, who would have liked to try and play off these semi-globals, the lack of Void Grubs is really unfortunate for them.
Feats of strength. We're going to be at 1 apiece for both sides as KC secure their 3rd objective. G2 getting the lead in terms of the kills earlier, mean that the tower is what will determine it. And the Herald spawning 30 seconds away. A lot for both these teams to play for.
Is this real? Like, what is happening?
I mean,
it's crazy that KC again in this game, in this position. As KC setting up the top as well, and Broken Blade has to pay attention. The game is still so even.
I love how aware KC are of the win conditions from G2, though. Look at where Pantheon and Labrov were. They are immediately moving down to this bot side to threaten a dive on towards Canna. Canna shifts completely out of that vicinity and says, no, we will trade towers on opposite side of the map. We are giving you nothing in this game. And this is where G2 are just kind of getting stumped. They don't know where they're supposed to be to try and force these plays. Caliste does need to be a little careful on the mid-wave, though, as there's several members of G2 here, and one hook could be a disaster.
Labrov's waiting to send it out, walks to the turret, Death Sentence connects. No dive there. Celestial Blessing will be down as well as Hansama shows his face. But remember, the only thing here now is a Herald that G2 start while they push top and reset. So for G2, they hold control over top.
The most vulnerable points for KC are when they are trying to split across all 3 lanes, because you are very vulnerable both as Gnar and Viktor to try and protect these side waves. That's why we're seeing KC. Yes, they have Canna on the bot wave, but they're trying to clump up as 4. They look for the mid lane turret, and they're just not trying to give G2 opportunities to use the double ultimates that they have.
But it will be a 2-for-1 trade. Broken Blade's going to get top, but Canna, I think, just gets bot.
Yeah.
I think KC's overall quite happy with this, just because it's likely that G2 will then use the Herald to secure mid, so ultimately it'll just be all of the outer towers looking to fall. 3rd tower goes down for KC. Oh no, they're committing to top. They want to keep pressure on one side of the map.
Targamas in for a flank. Labrov hooks him out. There's the zone in a turret, definitely more valuable. So the long con play for G2 works out as they get out with it. And Han Summer, he's over a trap right now, but they group up as 5.
My only issue with that is I feel mid tower gives you so much access into the jungle.
That's true.
Which I think is very important for G2's composition that wants to attack side lanes. Targamas will get hooked.
A Death Sentence is going to be taken in. The Dark Passage down as well. The box laid bare, but away they get separated. Yike's ulti was brilliant. The new KC jungle, the old blood from G2 has to tell them to go away, while Canna, an inner turret of his own making, is there while Han Summer's on the run. Wind becomes lightning, and Han Summer, Flash is now gone.
TP onto the bottom side from Caps just to try and keep the tier 2 alive, but Canna has his own reinforcements coming, and Caps might be in trouble.
That's going to Gnar against the wall. He'll find himself the turret. Is he going to give any redistribution of damage? Instead, Caps dies. Vladi is 6-1-2 versus the mid lane legend. And feeling good on this game again. 3,000 is the individual lead between them.
The idea was that G2 would use their comp to get a quick pick onto Targamas, thinking that what can KC do about it? He doesn't even realize that he's sitting on top of Vision. But the response from KC was just as fast. Yike with a good ultimate, Caliste with his ulti being able to follow up means that G2 don't find that pick. They end up losing a member of their own, and they concede the bot tier 2.
The thing for KC, though, is a huge amount of their gold is on Vladi. If you can pick off Vladi as G2, maybe you stand a chance, but that is a big maybe, because KC are looking primed in this game. Control littered everywhere on this bottom side jungle, making it really difficult for G2 to try and contest this. And again, Dragon stacking, 3rd Dragon potentially here for KC as G2. How do you try and force this? Targamas has a great flank position here.
But let's see, because Dragon's not done yet. Great ulti from Yike as well. Death Sentence on the Dragon, but it's again the Smite King of Winter. Oh my God! Karmine just blow G2 apart!
Canna, that was unbelievable! You just connected a 5-man ulti onto G2 and wiped them off the map!
G2 disappear in the blink of an eye, and KC, their eyes are on the trophy sitting in the middle of that stage.
If you weren't convinced of KC holding on to Canna, I hope you are now.
This was unbelievable. The knockup from Targamas, the ulti from Canna, and look at the storm. It wipes away G2. I mean, how can you not be happy with a play like that? That is a highlight reel that will last for years to come, as KC, with a 5k gold lead, are looking to 3-0 the reigning champions.
I knew KC had it in them, but I did not expect them to come in like this. G2 haven't stood a chance. KC have been clean, they have been quick, they have responded where they need to. And G2 look lost against this team.
Nothing good happens to Europe in the bot lane. Nothing good happens to G2 in the bot lane. And while they might find mid-turret, while they might stem some of the bleeding that has moved to 5k now for, Rakan's gonna die. Caliste is defending this. Bit of wave clear, and at least G2 are trying to get some gold back on the map, but the turret not going to be hit any further. The wave's gone, the curtain call out as well. Han Summer wants to get away, the quickness in front of the Dark Passage. The last shot hits Labrov. G2 are escaping, but a deadly flourish and a zone from Vladi around what needs to be used. In they go. Chaos Storm, though, not catching them by their big toe.
My goodness, it is getting tense as G2 get forced out of KC's side of the map. They're still hovering around the top lane, looking for a potential pick. Anything, if they can get a shutdown onto Vladi, it would be huge, and he may have overstepped.
Rakan, remember, we'll give him a revive. He's looking for the wave, but he'll be catched, caught. He'll go golden, but
Here's the flash.
There's Enforce coming in as well. Vladi might die, but again, with Rakan, TV going to be burned up as well, but G2 is still running away from this. Even after the teleport from Broken Blade, that crab's got to go rave somewhere else. Deadly throw from Caliste is clean, and Canna setting up to do it again, but instead the knockup's there, and Canna hits them all once more! No, you cannot! He screamed into G2's ears! It's KC's new day!
KC just threw the G2 legacy out the window with that ultimate from Canna. The team fighting has been clean, and with that, they are running towards the base. It won't end here, but the stab wounds are bleeding from G2.
With all the gold in their pockets, it may as well be G2 down 7,500 gold. Not a game right now in this finals. Are they looking to grab as Vladi seemed to be the perfect bait?
It seemed like an easy pick, get the Atakan off of Vladi, but the Zhonya's buys so much time. The back is cancelled by Caliste as he makes a beeline towards the top lane. G2 think that they can still get involved in this fight as they have the numbers advantage, but they're immediately forced to retreat. The Mega Gnar is built up on Canna, the root comes through from Caliste, and once again, the knockup from Targamas into the Mega Gnar from Canna. The combo that we've seen before makes a reappearance as G2 are wiped once more.
Canna has been the cherry on top.
Oh yeah.
When it has been Targamas who has been the one to bake this incredible cake, constantly finding these knockups, constantly setting him up. And it's every single member of KC who have stepped up to the mark today. Every single member who is playing out of their mind to take home the first potential title for KC and put a new name on the board of the LEC winners.
Vladi coming out of the ERLs. Caliste, it's been such a long time coming into the LEC. In his first split on the brink of a title. It's crazy. It's just like Yike, except Yike didn't get to go to an international. Yike didn't get the same opportunity, and Canna, while they look for him, will have the opportunity to get away. KC still so far up as Dragon Soul spawning in 30 seconds.
TP in towards the mid lane from Vladi, though. G2 are trying desperately to get on towards this Dragon, but they've left their base very vulnerable as a result. Tansama has to go, and now it's 4v5.
KC are enclosing on them. Yike with the perfect ulti as well, and Targamas just charms up. SkewMond can't get out alive, and Canna is about to go mega once again. Will fly in and smack them down. Know your place and kneel. KC challenging the kings, changing dynasties, and changing the fate of European League of Legends.
The wave of venues is coming, and a new wave is coming to the LEC.
And it's a new day, isn't it, with the minions channeling into the base. It is a blue day, a day for the old kings to finally kneel from 10th place to finalists, from last place to the first stand. Karmine Corp are your new kings of winter 2025 with the Nexus exposed. Long may they reign!
Nothing but demolition from Karmine Corp as they 3-0 the Grand Slam holders of G2. After losing to them only last week, they recovered with nothing but conviction and confidence, slamming their authority down and cementing themselves as champions of the Winter Split.
A record broken from G2. It was a team that stood as the record holders of the longest title streak in the LEC. And now there is one man who holds it, and that man is Yike, who is taking to the stage to lift that trophy for a 7th time in a row.
As we present to you the trophy ceremony presented by Kia, your Winter 2025 champions, Europe, look blue, it's KC! As they mark their line in the stand, or the sand, going to first stand.
Caliste in his first split in the LEC will become an LEC champion. Yike will continue his win streak. Targamas and Canna add another trophy to their cabinets.
That man.
And what a performance from the players.
It's heavy. but so is his role in this game. That Gnar was unbelievable.
I mean, it is a highlight play that will last for quite a while, I think.
2020 summer was the last time he lifted an LCK title, and his play today has had him lift an LEC title nearly 5 years later. But it is everyone on KC who stepped up today. It is everyone on KC who gets to lift that trophy. And there are so many smiles on the face of the KC fans.
And the man, long have we waited, but Caliste is now activated. He comes into the league and in his first split, just like Yike, wins everything. It was a rough 2024.
I mean, it was a really rough. I mean, you highlighted it beautifully, Starix. 10th place, the laughing stock of the league, the bottom of the barrel. But a year later, here they are, lifting the trophy, and they will be representing EMEA at the First Stand International Tournament.
The first one of its kind, and the fact that it's not G2 going is a sight to behold.
And a proof that dreams really can come true. Caliste had to wait an extra year to get to the LEC, but wins that title the second he does. It looks rough for Yike as he left G2, but now he stands as a holder of that title once more with KC. For Carmelo, a man who waited so long to get a team in the LEC, and now it is his team that he built from the ground up that is standing in the confetti of celebration on that stage.
I mean, I can only imagine the excitement on that man's face right now. He is living the dream. This is what he built this roster for. They wanted to compete not only domestically, but internationally, and they will now have that opportunity. Fresh faces to the international stage. And Caliste and Vladi, they've proved themselves domestically, but now they get to go up against the world's best and show what they have to offer.
Only 5 teams get to go. It's an exclusive event for only the very best. And KC, after what was an exceptional series, have earned their place there. They blew G2 out of the waters. I'm sure they blew G2 fans out of the waters. And the craziest part is,
they did it in a 3-0.
They did it in a 3-0.
It was so clean as well. It felt like everything G2 tried to knock on, any weakness they could try and find in the wall, was just plugged up immediately by KC. And now they stand champions of EMEA.
An impressive performance, to say the least. They will be riding this wave to Korea to compete in First Stands. But nothing but congratulations needs to be given to the bounce back, to the journey that they've made, but to this incredible accomplishment as KC can crown themselves as the kings of Europe.
They can indeed. They stop a long line of wins from G2, standing on stage, ready to talk with his first championship, or rather, the first of his kind. Sjokz standing by with the legend in Caliste.
Caliste, from the LFL to EMEA Masters to the LEC, what does it mean to win your very first title?
It means a lot. I don't know, I'm still excited from the games, I guess, but it feels so good. It just feels so good to win. I feel like LEC is my new home now, and I really wanted to win my first split, my very first split, come here and actually just send a message, like, I'm here and I will stay, and I will try to get all the trophies that I can get.
Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit more about that, about the fact that you were so awaited here in the LEC, that you had to sit at home and watch and see that the team wasn't doing that well and what you wanted to contribute, and how much that motivated you to work so much harder this split, but also this week after suffering that defeat to G2 last week.
Yeah, I mean, it was really frustrating last year that I couldn't join, and I saw that the team was just not performing, but I made sure that this frustration doesn't slow me, but it actually is something good for me. So I worked really hard in my year in my last year, sorry, in LFL, to make sure I will be in a really good shape to join the LEC. I think I'm pretty happy with my first splits. There were up and downs. I think, for example, yeah, the last best of 5 against G2 was not great. I really fumbled it, but again, I'm just working really hard to make sure I can give the best to my team, and I really make sure that everyone feels good in the team. The fans are aware that we're working hard and that they are also very important in our working because they really helped me a lot going through the last best of 5 against G2.
Yes, and when it comes to playing versus G2 specifically, a lot of teams we see crumble even when they are 1 game or 2 games ahead. They quote it often, saying that G2 is very hard to play in this finals. So why did you and KC crack the code, you think?
I think we were just really hungry. Overall, we were really hungry, and you know, we got a bit smashed last week, so all of us had really high expectations in going against G2. We also knew this time how to play against them. Like, I think we never really struggled to play against G2 in official or in scrims. It's just I think they had a new way of approaching the game last week, and well, we were not expecting it a lot. I mean, at all, and we got a bit surprised, but I think we are just really hungry. We really want to show everyone that, like, we are all good players. We will make it to international events, and we really want to make sure we are showing a good impression of Europe there.
Maybe Europe needed a bit of a wake-up call, and perhaps KC can serve as such, but you said it. You are going now to First Stand, the international event, and we know that the fans expect so much. What are your fighting words for your first international foray and what you can do for Europe there?
I'm really excited. It's been a lot of years that I'm actually watching the international events, and I'm really dreaming to be there. So I will give my best. I will really work so hard, and I will just fight as hard as I can. I will never give up, and I'm really excited to be there.
Okay. Un petit mot en français pour les fans ici à la maison.
J'aime pas dire ça, mais j'ai l'impression que c'est un peu une routine de dire un grand merci aux fans. Mais vraiment, du plus profond du cœur, un grand merci à vous tous, à ceux qui sont là déjà et à ceux qui regardent le stream et qui nous supportent tous les jours. Ça veut vraiment dire énormément de choses. Par exemple, vous pouvez prendre l'exemple de Targa qui a reçu beaucoup de vagues de haine, et ça l'aide beaucoup. Et personnellement, je peux vous le dire, la semaine dernière, je ne serais pas revenu aussi fort que je le suis aujourd'hui sans vous. Donc sincèrement, un grand merci et je vais tout donner aux First Hands.
There you go. Thank you so much, Caliste. Merci beaucoup. Félicitations. And we will walk over to a very important player on KC that we need to talk to whilst I summarize what Caliste said for our viewers who don't understand French maybe. A big thank you, as he always does, but also for supporting Targamas, who didn't have the best time online, right, in the last year, and also specifically the uplifting words for Caliste after last week. But now, Yike. Was it just always Yike difference?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. This is like I'm still in shock, you know, after what happened today.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I know you believe that you could win, of course, but this is the best KC has played all split. How come?
I don't know. I think everyone was just, as Chris said, everyone was so hungry. I think the fact that we have like 2 very young rookies, they really want to prove themselves, and I think they did today.
They absolutely did, but you did as well. You needed to make the difference. Everyone did, Canna as well. Can you say something about stepping into Game 3? The fact that yesterday you experienced what it was like to lose 2 after you were 2 up, and kind of your motivation and calling in this game specifically, because it wasn't a 1 game for the start. You needed some very good engages, some very good moves from Canna as well.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, we were just talking about we won't do the same mistake as last time. We don't want to get too excited. I think that was the biggest problem. It's very easy to get too excited when you're 2-0 up. So we just took it like it was the best of 1, basically. And I said it, I think everyone said it. And I think Targa was also very good at keeping everyone calm, like me and Targa. And I think everyone just did such a good job.
For sure. I know it's hard to have perspective right now because it just happened, but this is crazy. You came into the league, into G2, you did fantastic in the beginning, and then people maybe started to doubt, is this Yike gonna have as much of, or as big of an influence? The internationals didn't go exactly the way you would have wanted. You wanted to show more. You get pushed in this position, you grab it with both hands, and you win the goddamn title 3-0 over G2. What?
I don't know. I'm so shocked. Like, I'm just so proud of everyone. I think It was such a hard like off season for sure. Like I was in the best team in Europe for like it's the best team for 2 years, and I got kicked obviously, and yeah, everything just changed, and I felt like I had to take a new role, and I feel like I did it well, I guess. And I just met everyone here, and I'm so proud of meeting everyone and just getting to know everyone, and everyone is so good in the team.
It's amazing. Yeah, I want to thank your KC fam.
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for supporting us, supporting me, supporting my team. I'm so thankful. It's my home, you know. KC is my home, and I feel so proud to be here. Thank you so much, guys.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Yike. Let's go. And of course now for Laure and PGL with the rest of the victorious Karmine Corp.